Caller number two. Where's the caller number two? Okay, there's Julie.
Hello. Hello.
Okay. Is everyone here?
Present. Hi, Crystal.
Good evening. Yeah, Julie's in. Okay. My mic is on. The light's on. Okay, we're ready. The meeting will come to order. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
of America,
the republic for which it stands, one nation,
One nation, under God,
with
indivisible,
indivisible,
liberty,
for all.
for all.
Okay, before we get started here, a word of technical instruction. Please, please, please be on mute if you are not speaking so we don't have a lot of extra background noise going on so we can have a nice, clear, and crisp meeting. Thank you so very much, everyone, for being here this evening. We'll now have the roll call, please.
Thank you, Chairwoman. Crystal Clark,
Present.
Vice Chair Julie Highsmith,
Present.
Dr. Bill Tollimer,
Present.
and Councilman Jeff Amara.
Here.
Okay, we're going to begin the evening with the presentation by Principal Stephen Epstein from Palms West Charter School. We're going to begin with a video presentation.
I don't see it, Crystal.
Principal Epstein, we thank you for that video, and you're on deck. Principal Epstein, you're on deck.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we hear you. We can hear you. The video has presented, and you're free to speak now.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you fine.
Okay. All right. So I wanted to thank you, board, for allowing me to.
Okay, now we can't hear you, Principal Epstein. We're having some type of a technical difficulty here.
How's that?
We hear you now.
Okay. We'll try to figure it out. I have unmuted everything, so we will see what happens.
Okay.
All right. So I'll start. So first and foremost, I want to thank the board. Thank you guys for holding this meeting. These uncharted territory that we are in right now, we're going to have these technical difficulties and so forth. So I greatly appreciate the opportunity. First and foremost, I really want to say thank you to all of the teachers out there. This is Teacher Appreciation Week. Without the teachers, none of this could happen. Principals that are
We have lost sound again. We have lost sound, and we're having trouble getting that taken care of. We don't know the origin of the problem. Sorry about that. We can't hear you at all.
hello.
Catch again.
Okay, now we can hear you again.
I have not changed anything. So what I wanted to start and say is, again, this is uncharted territory for everybody. I want to really appreciate our teachers and our staff for everything that they've been doing during this time frame. And I wanted to talk a little bit about what was going on in the video. Inside the video, there was a lot of stuff from the beginning of the year all the way through to where we are currently. So our school focuses on service and community and leadership. So a lot of the images that you saw were our students working in the community and serving others. We try to work on servant leadership. One of the videos, there was a sub video. Our students in middle school are really focused on Flipgrid. So a way to engage students during this uncharted time is really to give them the opportunity to be part of the lesson in an environment where they might enjoy taking videos of themselves and then sharing those videos. So you saw the young man who blew the ping pong ball, and the ping pong ball went down the steps into a cup. That was a response to a challenge that was made by his teacher. So during this time, we're trying to find a sense of normalcy. So our school, what we've done is we've created our schedule to pretty much mirror our schedule in school and just kind of shorten out some blocks of time for our students to actually do work. So for example, our middle school, the easiest way to explain it is our middle school follows a 7-period day, just like they would if they came to our building. The only difference is they're not on the computer that entire time. They're on the computer more of a, let's say, 3 hours within 30-minute increments. So it's an opportunity for the teachers to do direct teaching and then the students to do some individual work on their own. During this time frame, we really have to educate with using compassion and grace and really sit there and think and be thoughtful to the families at the house of, being a parent, being a teacher. That wasn't what necessarily a parent signed up for, unless they actually were a teacher. So the parents are put into a whole new and unique time. So we're really sitting back and we're trying to make sure that what we're doing with our students is just, again, having a little bit of empathy and being sympathetic to what's going on in the home front. They have the opportunity for some fun. I think what this has done, it has really brought a lot of positives, probably more positives for a lot of our teachers as far as ways to communicate to students, ways to communicate to parents, bringing different ideas that, it really got us out of our comfort zone and put us into a position of, you know what, tomorrow in the classroom, when I get back to the building, we're able to focus on this, we're able to do these pieces. So I just wanted to show the video a little bit. When we showed the video, in that video we had a pen pal from Italy. There was a classroom that we created, a pen pal in Italy. We started, looking at the community service project. So we started reaching out to the nursing homes. Our students are writing letters. So we're incorporating our ELA classes, our civics classes, our service learning classes into writing these letters, creating videos, and we're sharing them with nursing homes around the community so that those individuals can get a sense of encouragement from our students as well. So I just wanted to, touch a little bit about what we're doing and about how things are going. I really think that our teachers are doing an amazing job engaging our students, asking our students to really hold education, to the utmost importance and still show up to class. This school is in session in our building, and I know it is around the county. So we just really want our students to realize that, and any opportunity that they can to encourage. We really embrace social media and using that as an avenue of getting messages out. Also, again, these different technologies that the students now have at their fingertips to bring into the classroom with the teacher's assistance has been an enormous impact on education. And I think will impact the education in the future. So with that said, I'm gonna open it up. Again, I really appreciate the opportunity. This is very different format. We do this on a daily basis where we're able to see everybody. It's always easier to discuss and have a face-to-face. But I really believe that lines of communication have opened through all of this. And again, principals that are in the room, thank you for all you guys do for your staff. Any staff members that are in the room, teachers, it shouldn't just be a day or a week that is sent for appreciation. It's every day. And I really believe that at this moment, the people, nurses, doctors, lawyers, the essential workers that are out there, police, firefighters, teachers, we're getting a little bit more recognition than we may have had. And I think people are seeing what we do on a day in, day out basis. And I appreciate the opportunity Are there any questions that the board or anybody may have?
Mr. Epstein, this is Bill Tolliver. I've seen some things about the kids starting to get used to this and kind of liking this. So is there a way you're thinking about maybe incorporating some of this into your curriculum?
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad you asked that. Absolutely. So I think there's definitely a group of students that have really embraced the online and the virtual world. I absolutely can see going forward the opportunity to definitely incorporate that. I've already had conversations with my supervisors about that, about how we can look forward for next year. I think we may, who knows? We may be in that position that we have to do that anyway. So just trying to be a little bit proactive in that approach. So we've already started some talks on what we can do in order to allow students who are being successful and who are thriving in this environment to keep thriving in that educational environment. So absolutely, and I love that question, and I appreciate it. Because it is something that we've definitely looking for the future and seeing where we can go, especially in our school. We have a little bit more autonomy, so we are a little able to kind of stretch a little bit more. But it's definitely something we've already started talking about. So I greatly appreciate that, sir.
Great. Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Madam Chair, I have a question for Principal Epstein. So as you mentioned, unless the parents have been teachers, this is a new experience for them in a lot of ways. Are you doing anything to reach out to them and help them through this process?
Absolutely. So, and just to kind of show you in the video, there were a couple of pictures that said Zooming with Mr. Epstein. So what we did is we basically have held a couple of parent universities to kind of show them what our students are going to be going through online and virtually. So we invited the parents and had a session with us. We kind of walked through some of the tools, but our teachers have office hours, and they specifically have office hours for some parents. So the parents are able to communicate. So we've definitely been holding those opportunities to educate our parents. And I think just organically, I think the students are actually educating the parents a little bit more with what they're doing. That's where I think holding that, what they're saying, the compassion and grace, because at the end of the day, these parents, if they weren't teachers, they weren't expecting to become a teacher like this. And it is a struggle. So I've actually reached out to a lot of parents individually and had conversations with them. I've walked through what we're doing, how we can do it, just to kind of be like a mediator and to just ease their pain a little. So what I've done, I've kind of, and this isn't, in a smaller school, I'm able to do this. I've kind of tried to funnel everything through me just so that the parents know that they can get a hold of me. I've given out a Google phone. So they can text me, they can send me messages, they can email me, and it's pretty much an instantaneous response. So we've been trying to ease their pain on that. And if there are a little bit, hiccups, we just listen, we work it through. And so absolutely, Councilman, I appreciate that as well. I think our parents struggled a little bit more at first. They're definitely finding out what's going on in today's world of education.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you identified me. I failed to identify myself, but I would tell you that, as much as we talk about parent involvement being such a key, if you're looking for a bright spot in this, now, if I was a parent, I might not agree about the bright spot completely, but the exposure is, no, it actually fits under the heading of immersion. So they're getting to see their kids' education at a level that few have probably seen unless they have actually been teachers. So there is a bright spot, I think, right there. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Absolutely. And if when we look at the positives for what we're going through, I mean, the whole ordeal of what we're going through is a negative, but we have to look for those bright spots. And if you just look about community, and actually, I really believe that parent and teacher communication has opened up a lot more. Parent and school communication has opened up a lot more. The parents seeing all of those different sides, and like you said, being immersed into it, you know, and the family unit having to be together a little bit more. Right now, I mean, you know, where else you're gonna go? So I definitely think that it's been there's definitely bright spots for what's happening. We just have to really capitalize on the bright spots and not focus on the negative.
Principal Epstein, have all your students, you have 100% of your students into this so that no one is falling through the cracks?
So right now we're running between 95 and 98% attendance on a daily basis. We actually run our attendance numbers, and you know, keep in mind attendance is calculated in so many different fashions with the students doing the work. Those one-off students or students who are falling through the cracks, we have a team of staff members who are making calls daily. We have people that are checking up, you know, and going through. So we're trying to make sure that every student doesn't fall through the cracks. We really want, obviously, everybody, just like any school wants all the students to get their education. The bigger concern is, you know, what's next year going to look like. So we want to make sure that we hold education to its highest standards and rigorous as we can at this point in this new environment. And any student that is falling, we are, for lack of better terminology, we are going to annoy them until they get there. So we really want our kids to get the education that they need and deserve. Sometimes, you know, when you leave it up to them, you know, I know one particular student, his mom and his dad are both essential workers and they're not home, you know, and he tells them they do everything. So our teachers are reaching out, our staff is reaching out. Sometimes I'm making those phone calls, I'm reaching out. So we're making sure that the lines of communication are constantly open, and we're trying to make sure we catch all of those students.
Does anyone else have any comments, questions?
Just one question, Chairperson. This is Bill Tolmer again. Principal Epstein, so this whole bit about passing and what they're really learning, and, you know, are we going to hold these kids somewhat accountable as we get to the end? What are your thoughts about this? Has been an issue that's been raised about just kind of getting kids through, turn a lot of things in late because all the new things and the learning that's not going to be as strong as it is for next year. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously it's a tough situation out there. I'm a firm believer that we still have to hold people, students, teachers accountable for the education of our kids. The students have to be held accountable for the work. So the work might be a time period of the work being turned in, but my teachers, we have grades that are due weekly. They are reaching out. The students are given the work that they're taking, that they have to complete and turn in for a grade, and that is being held to the standard, that the expectation of they need to do their work to get their grade. Now, again, looking back at that piece of compassion and grace, and I think that's where maybe the extended period of turning work in has that grayer area. But absolutely, I mean, I'm a firm believer. Think about it. If you have 8 hours a day, if you're online for 3 hours a day, that leaves you 5 hours a day to do work. So there are actually students. I had a parent who called me the other day that said, "Can you explain to my child the importance of and the expectations of the school?" And it was just about what you said about doing the work. And I do not diminish the grades and diminish the work. Again, if I do that, then I'm really not holding people accountable. Then I'm going to get why do it anyway? So I'm at the belief of we need to still hold our students accountable. We still need to be rigorous as we possibly can in this environment. Our teachers are teaching daily online and holding our students accountable. And I think if we can keep that in mind next year when we do the, look back at the year and see where we go. I think we'll see there will be a drop, definitely. Think about summer slides, but it's not in my nature to just be negative and say, no, this isn't counting. We still need to hold them accountable for the work, and we need to keep pushing them forward to excel academically. Otherwise, we're losing it.
I agree. Thank you, Principal Estee. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Well, Principal Epstein, I really want to thank you and really all principals and teachers and parents. Thank goodness I don't have to deal with this, but for those who do, God bless. And we really, really, really as a community appreciate the work that is being put in now to help the children succeed in the midst of this very strange situation. I just want to thank you again. Do you have any parting words?
No, again, board, chair, thank you very much for allowing me the opportunity to present on our school in this unique fashion. I want to echo what you just said to the principals and the staff members of the school in this meeting tonight. Thank you guys for support, and because we really have done this, as an education support community, we need each other to be successful in this new environment. And again, thank you to them. Thank you to the teachers, and we truly appreciate everybody in the education world for what they're doing for our students. So again, thank you for the opportunity.
All right, thank you very much. Next, we will have a presentation from Dr. Armas, Royal Palm Beach High School.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for having us. And Madam Chair and the board, Councilman O'Mara, thank you for having this meeting. This is an important meeting. I know that I speak for our other principals when I say that it's an important meeting for us, and we're glad to be here and glad you're having this. And we get to experience a little bit of what our kids are experiencing right now, and our parents, as Steve was saying. I think it's important to remember we're the 10th largest school district in the nation. There are 13,000 districts, approximately 13,000 districts in the United States, averaging about 5,000 students. We are the 10th largest of those 13,000 and have nearly 200,000 students. And in 2 weeks, we turned education, like we've known it for over 100 years, upside down, so that we could try to keep some kind of momentum and learning for our students. And I think our leadership should be commended, and the superintendent and our board for what they've done in getting us to this point. We can talk a lot about remote learning. Everybody's doing it. I want to just talk a little bit about our seniors. Our seniors, boy, my heart goes out to them. They have had everything that is traditional with being a senior just stripped from them, and it's just horrible. My heart breaks out. My heart breaks for them, and I wish there was something that we could do. We've tried to do everything we can. I want to try to kind of outline a little bit of what we've done for our seniors, but nationwide, the class of 2020 has had to go through something that kids shouldn't have to go through because graduation is such a tradition. On April 7th, the district sent out a message saying that the fairground commencement ceremonies were canceled. Then about a week later, we came out saying that virtual commencements were going to happen, that was going to be our commencement for now, and then we would wait till later on to see what would happen. At that time, that same evening, I conducted a live Google Meet, and we actually had over 170 families in attendance in a meeting like this. And it went well, but my message to our seniors then and in subsequent meetings with seniors, President's Circle, and student body, my message was very clear throughout. One, that that I support the superintendent 100% on this decision. I think that's the right move to make to go into this kind of ceremony at this time to give them something in May. The second message I wanted to send to them was that even though we're having this, and this is our commencement ceremony right now, that when time and safety permit, we are going to do something for our senior class that's live. Now, that's when time and safety permit. And so basically, since we have no idea when that will be, we really don't know how to plan for that at this point. The only thing I can guarantee the seniors that I can make happen, because I can make this happen tomorrow, well, not tomorrow, once we get the all clear, I can make it happen, and I can make it happen a year from now. I promise them that we will figure out a way to get them the traditional graduation picture where I'm shaking their hands and handing them their diploma in our caps and gowns and our Royal Palm Beach High School background in it. And so I want to make sure that that's going to happen for sure. Anything else that we can do, we're going to try to do. I've given them my commitment that once time and safety permit, then I will do everything I can for them. And the third message I wanted to send about this was that if this is our commencement, then we're going to make it as good as we can. And we're going to give it, I'm giving it 100%, our staff is giving it 100% to ensure that we can deliver a great commencement ceremony for them. So you have an idea of how that rolls out. What will happen is we've already begun the process of providing our seniors with what they normally would have: caps and gowns, cords, stoles, yearbooks, award certificates, diplomas, and even a couple of gifts that I've been sworn to secrecy not to tell as a surprise. We've got a couple of small gifts, token of our appreciation for the seniors. So we're in the process right now of cleaning out their lockers. And then on a date that has yet to be determined, the district will give us that for all the high schools in the district. We will provide the seniors an opportunity to receive all of this, get their locker stuff, get this grab bag of goodies that's going to have their cap and gowns and everything else in it, an opportunity for them to give us textbooks and what they owe. It will be, they will not be getting down. It will be, whatever happens, there will be cars, and students will not be getting down, and we will follow all CDC regulations and guidelines to ensure maximum safety. And it'll just be in their cars, and we will figure out a way how to. We have a plan as to how we're going to deliver that for them. Then the next thing is that we're in the process now of beginning to record the different pieces of the ceremony. The graduation ceremony will be recorded in bits. So the valedictorian will do, an example, will do his speech. The valedictorian will do his. I'll do mine. We have other things that are going to be going on, and then of course the calling of the names. Then what we do is that we give all of these smaller recordings to the communications department, and we have a great communications department in Palm Beach County, great people, professionals, and they're going to edit it and put it together into what will be about a 120-minute ceremony. That ceremony will then be telecast on telecast. I think I've shown my age when I say telecast. I don't even know that even happens anymore. However it is, we're going to send it out. The communications department will put it out on May 29th at 6:30 p.m. May 29th at 6:30 p.m. We will be, our recording will go out for the first time. It will go out on Comcast channel 234, UVerse channel 99, Antenna channel 12.2. It will stream live on the district's website, palmbeachschools.org, and on YouTube. The Royal Palm Beach High School faculty and staff, we will be having a watch party, virtual watch party. So we're all going to meet in a Google Meet and watch it together. We want to send a message to our students and our seniors that we normally would be all together and go to their ceremony, and then we're going to do it here. So we're going to give everybody together. We're having a watch party. We're excited about that. And we're going to do the best we can. Leading up to the commencement, we're going to have virtual senior awards night, virtual scholarship stoles night, and academies banquet, all virtual events that we would normally have. We're figuring out ways to make them virtually. And that's pretty much what we're doing with our seniors. Just a couple other things. It is Teacher Appreciation Week. We certainly are grateful to our teachers. Thanks to bunch of people that went out and delivered teacher appreciation signs for their yard signs to all of our faculty, and they were grateful for that. And then we've got 4 students that kind of have been making headlines here lately, and we're kind of interesting things. First, Dominic Grosso and Paige Houck had their parents put on for them a kind of an independent prom, like a small prom for them, and the Palm Beach Post picked up on it, took pictures, did an article. Then USA Today picked up on it and did something. National Public Radio now picked up on it and had something, and NBC has asked for permission to use the pictures in the story. So it's kind of cool. I just am a little upset that I haven't been mentioned anywhere there yet, but I'll figure out a way eventually to kind of get in on that. We also had one of our students, Kenedra Bolden, who started a Facebook initiative where families could adopt seniors to try to maybe give them a gift or something along the line, so that they would have something, considering our seniors have lost so much. And over 600 seniors, not just from Royal Palm, but 600 seniors have actually been adopted. And that's a great thing. It was started by one of our students. And then one of our STEM students, Anthony Benag, at home with a 3D printer, has created hundreds of masks that he has sent out to healthcare providers and first responders. And so those are some of our students that have been really doing some really good stuff. Again, thanks for having this. I appreciate the time. And it's good talking to you or hearing you. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Dr. Armis, and thank you for going the extra mile for seniors, because this really is hard for them, and it really is something that has been basically taken from them, that experience, because this is their last chance at high school, and it has been stunted and interfered with, and every other word you want to use. So I really do appreciate you going the extra mile and doing things to at least try to mitigate the circumstances that we're under at this time. Does anyone have any questions for Dr. Armis?
Madam Chair.
Sure.
Oh, okay. Let Bill go.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I can wait, Jeff. Go ahead.
Okay, I was just going to say, I think all of us were provided with a 3-page list of bullets that represent the Royal Palm Beach High School response to COVID-19. I'm wondering if Dr. Armas wanted to mention anything off of that list.
I tell you, sir, I appreciate you covering for me on that, because that slipped my mind that I had sent you that, and I did want to just make a quick reference to that. Thank you very much for that. I emailed to the board and to some of our district personnel that had emails. I emailed them a document that has the kind of details a little bit of the tasks that we have had to do as a response to the COVID-19 and going to remote learning. And you see there that it's probably not even a complete list, because we forget everything that we do, but we just kind of threw that together. But you have over 100 different things there, actions that our departments have done to turn things around during this time. And again, all that you see there was our staff, doing this in a 2-week period, getting ready and then putting it through. So it just goes to show. And by the way, we're not the only ones who've done that. Every school has had to do similar things, and just as many as we have. And so, but that just goes to show you a little bit of the many, many things that have to be done and taken into account to be able to kind of pull this off the way that this district has. Thanks for that, Councilman.
My pleasure. Just follow up with one thing, and then we'll give it to Bill if you'd like. But and that is that I've actually had the experience of teaching online and teaching in a classroom. They are very different things. And as understatements go, that's probably a pretty darn good one. And to have to do this without a lot of advance notice is even more challenging. And so My hat's off to you all of you, for what you're doing and what you've done. And I'm sure it gets better and better every day as you learn from the experience. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Bill?
Yeah, Dr. Armas, yeah, thank you, the chairperson. So, Dr. Armas, two things. Certainly glad to help any Silvags or, got lots of young, strong people ready to do something here that aren't doing much right now. So if you need any help, to help to battle all those, I'd like to offer that. And secondly, I'd like to offer a question about first generation. How important this is as a milestone for them, right? And how do you think this may affect first generations that didn't really allow to get through this really culmination of their journey? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, that is, I think that, for us, we obviously know the importance of that. We know the importance. When the day that the announcement was made that we're going to cancel at the fairgrounds, and then that following week when we had to announce virtual, I mean, I've talked to parents, I've talked to principals, I've talked to teachers, and households across the county had to stop what they were doing to take care of those seniors who were hurt. There were lots of tears, and certainly it was a very traumatic event for them. And when you are the first in your family to ever have graduated from high school, and you were going to have that opportunity, and to have that kind of stripped from you, and the joy of everybody being there together, yeah, it hurts. And I don't know, like we none of us really know how deep the long-term effects of all of this is going to be, whether it's school or economy or whatever, right? It's just, but we know that something's got to give, right? Dominoes have to fall from this. And so you certainly hope that we can recoup it somehow as quickly as possible, which is one of the reasons why I've tried to, again, I've promised them that time and safety permitting, I'm going to do whatever I can to try to give them something somewhere down the road to be able to have that kind of experience. And Dr. Tolliver, just so that the question you asked Steve about whether or not this is something that we may look to the future, what little hair I have on my head just stands on end when I hear that. Steve is right. There has been a certain population of students who have excelled through this, but those probably are the same students that are going to excel in the brick and mortar setting. I would say that it's a very small percentage of students that were not excelling in brick and mortar, but are excelling here. I think that where we will see a positive gain through all of this will be that I think our teachers now are going to now have more tools in their bag to deliver instruction, because now they've for lack of a better term, they've been forced to use more of the technology. And by the way, our teachers have been great throughout this whole process. I mean, they worked through their spring break to get ready. All teachers across this district have been fantastic in how they've turned the delivery of lessons. But I think that they're going to come out of this so much more, with so many more tools to be able to provide instruction that are now technology sound. We're going to have a lot more teachers that are going to use Google Classroom. We're going to have a lot more teachers who are going to use some of the different platforms that are out there to deliver instruction. And so I think that ultimately our teachers will come out of this stronger and better, which is great. But I just can't tell you how proud I am of all of our teachers, but our Royal Palm Beach High School faculty in particular, for the work that they've done. And they've really, it's been yeoman's work, and they've gotten after it. It's not easy. They've done a great job.
Yeah, and I think the craziest thing about change is it happened so fast they didn't have time to think about it, and they just adapted and just went with it. So kudos to them, and thank you again, Dr. Armas.
Thank you, sir.
Well, once again, thank you, Dr. Armas, and thank you for the document so that we can see exactly, well, not everything, as you said, but a lot of the work that has been put in. And we do really appreciate the efforts of, like has been said, the schools, the staff, the district, and coordinating things, and the parents and all who have been involved. Thank you again, sir.
Thank you.
All right, do we have Crestwood Middle School, Dr. Nance?
Hi, good evening to everyone. How's everyone today?
We're good, ma'am.
I hope everyone is well. Thank you. And so thank you for the opportunity to be able to come forth to all of you. In addition to everything that Dr. Armas has shared as it relates to how we at Crestwood Middle School have moved forward to prepare for our distance learning journey, we are very excited that our distance learning attendance rate is well over 95%. And so we do have a small population of young people that we are working very hard with the students and their parents to be able to help those students to make those academic connections through their new distance learning platform. So that work continues. We are very excited that our student leadership has also stepped up in terms of our WCMS TV production team. These students are still providing weekly messages for the students in order to keep them connected to Crestwood. I think I hear some feedback. Okay. So we are very excited again that our student leadership is playing an active part in continuing to help build our Eagle School Pride. This week, as mentioned, is Teacher Appreciation Week, and we have quite a few things in store for our teachers. We're very excited about the special gifts that are coming their way. And so our team has already begun to mobilize to get those special gifts out to our teachers by the end of the week. And I'm not going to say what the special gifts are because the teachers don't know what they are yet. So it wouldn't be fair to share with this group and not have shared with the teachers. But we're very excited to be able to show our love to all of the hard work that our teachers have done to help build this distance learning platform. As we continue to forge ahead in our platform, we are also preparing for the upcoming FY21 school year with our hopes that we will be returning to our campuses as soon as the CDC and the governor says so. We are excited that we were able to have a Google Meet last week with our feeder elementary school principals, and we were able to roll out to them our course selection process via Google Form. And so I want to just first thank the elementary school principals. Bruce Salter was one of them, Jennifer Mikowski, Tracy Gogler, Jennifer Galindo, DeJuan Ross, for all of their support and input in helping us to be able to put that document together so that we can ensure that as students matriculate over to Crestwood Middle School, that they have been academically placed in the courses that they will be most successful. So I just want to thank my colleagues for helping us with that work as well. And we continue to move forward in our new platform. So that is my report for Crestwood Middle School. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Questions?
Thank you, Dr. Nance. You did answer the one question I had because I was interested in how that was going to work with preparing for the feed coming in for the next school year. So I appreciate you answering that. Does anyone else have any questions for Dr. Nance? Okay, well, we'll move on to Cypress Trails and Principal Salter.
Hi, good evening, everybody. I'm actually going to yield my presentation. I believe H.L. Johnson and Royal Palm are too. We consolidated our presentation into the presentation from the Central Region.
Oh, okay. All right. Some more teamwork making the dream work. We appreciate that. Thank you all very much for that. Okay, so reports from Central Region. in the district. Who do we have?
Good evening. This is Valerie Haynes is on. How are you? I hope everybody is fine. I just do have a question in regards to the presentation that I provided earlier today. If it was provided to you for me to share, or if you allow me the opportunity to go on a present mode, I can present it from my laptop.
We didn't receive it, so proceed. Oh.
Okay, if I could, are you able to hear me and see me?
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it. So thank you for having me this evening. Representing our Western schools in Royal Palm Beach, I would like to thank you for having this opportunity. You have heard wonderful things and updates from our secondary schools with Dr. Armas and graduation, as well as all of the prep work that goes along with it, and Crestwood Middle School with some of the things that they're working on. Another piece that I wanted to also talk about, and it reminded me of the both of them speaking in relationship to next year, is the transition work that we've been doing between elementary schools and middle schools, and then middle and high school, and course selection. So a lot of that work is happening behind the scenes, just so that you know. A couple important facts, a couple of things that are coming up. Not only are we trying to close out this school year effectively and efficiently in this new world that we live in, but we're also trying to open up a new, hopefully a new school year for next year, and in a way that we started a very innovative approach of kindergarten pre-enrollment process that just started today. And I'm going to share with you a little bit more about that, but we wanted to be able to capture as many kindergartners as possible now, so that we're able to get ahead of the curve with enrollment for next year. By now, what's happened is that typically schools have already had the opportunity to have their kindergarten roundup, and because we're not at the school centers, they have not been able to do so. So we're trying to do this virtually. At the same time, we're trying to pre-enroll our students virtually as much as possible. So the messaging that's going out to parents is that, the site for the pre-enrollment of students is really for the eligibility of the students that are going to be they're going to be 5 years old on or before September 1st, 2020, and have never been enrolled in a Palm Beach County school. So there's a hot link that takes the parent over to Find My School so that they can identify which school they live within their boundaries, and also to understand a little bit more about the student registration requirements. So the parents, what we're trying to do is encourage them to pre-enroll using a tool that I'm going to show you in the next slide, and for them to be able to, for those who can now, attach proof of birth and also proof of residence. But this pre-enrollment doesn't mean that they've completed their registration. It's just for us to be able to determine where, how many kids we have coming in ahead of time, and for us to be able to capture that. Additional documentation, of course, will be required prior to the start of the school year, including the immunizations, the physical, the signed, that 3-page or form registration packet is still going to need to be completed. So this is what the portal that the parents are going to be able to utilize. What we figured as a district is that since we have so many laptops out or devices out, we to our students, I believe now we're up to about 17,000 devices that have already been given out and loaned to our students, that for especially those students or the families that have older siblings, parents who perhaps didn't have a device before now have a device and have the tools to be able to complete this pre-enrollment application. So what it is basically is that the parent is able to, once they log in, they're able to choose from 4 major languages, and then they just apply simply for enrollment, and then they can upload a copy of the birth certificate and true proofs of residence. Now, if they're unable to do those 2 pieces, they can still at least pre-enroll in saying that basically that they're able to go, that they're wanting to go to that particular school based on where they live. So at least that is something that we've been able to put together so that we can get ahead of the registration piece. Today was the first day that it opened up, and last I heard around 3 p.m., we already had almost 1,600 applicants, pre-enrollment applicants just today on the first day. So, and majority of these were coming from the Jupiter, Boca, and the Western communities, meaning Royal Palm Beach and Wellington area. So that's something very positive for us that we're trying to get ahead of the curve. Now, Cypress Trails, one of the ways that they're trying to also make sure that their parents are aware of their of what their school has to offer is by creating this wonderful kindergarten roundup video, which I am going to present to you now. So the first school you're going to see is Cypress Trail.
Hi, welcome to Cypress Trails Elementary School. I'm Bruce Salter, the principal.
And I'm Lauren Hall, the assistant principal.
And we are so excited to show you all of the great things that kindergartners got to do this year at Cypress Trails. In this video, you will see the amazing opportunities that our students have to learn in our eSTEM Environmental STEM program. We partner with Lion Country Safari, and all of our students get to attend a free field trip to Lion Country Safari and learn with them through different programs. Also at Cypress Trails, students will have the opportunity to grow not only academically and participate in extracurricular activities, but also we are a social emotional learning school. And we really care a lot about helping our students to grow socially and emotionally, not only in kindergarten, but all the way through 5th grade.
Please be sure to find us on social media to follow all of the great activities and things happening right now. On Twitter, we are at CTES Lions, or on Facebook at Cypress Trails Elementary. You'll also see our email, phone number, and school website so that you can contact us with any questions you may have.
We've been serving the village of Royal Palm Beach for 30 years now, and we can't wait to welcome your child next year.
May you have auspiciousness and causes of success. May you have the confidence to always do your best. May you take no effort in your being generous, sharing what you can, nothing more, nothing less. May you know the meaning of the word happiness. May you always lead from the beating in your chest. May you be treated like an esteemed guest. May you get to rest. May you catch your breath. May the best of your todays be the worst of your tomorrow. Whoa. May the road less paved be the road that you follow. Oh, well, here's to the hearts that you're gonna break. Here's to the lives that you're gonna change. Here's to the infinite possible ways to love you. I want you to have it. Here's to the good times we're gonna have. You don't need money, got free pass. Here's to the fact that I'll be sad without you. I want you to have it all. I want you to have it all. I want you to have it. I want you to have it all. May you be as fascinating as a slap bracelet. May you keep the chaos and the clutter off your desk. May you have unquestionable health and less stress. Having no possessions or immeasurable wealth. May you get a gold star on your next test. May your educated guesses always be correct. And may you win prizes shining like diamonds. May you really own it each moment to the next. May the best of your todays be the worst of your tomorrow. Whoa. May the road less paved be the road that you follow. Oh, well, here's to the hearts that you're gonna break. Here's to the lives that you're gonna change. Here's to the infinite possible ways to love you. I want you to have it. Here's to the good times we're gonna have. You don't need money, got free pass. Here's to the fact that you believe it, then anything can happen. Go, 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 raise your glasses. Go, 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 you can have it. Oh.
All right. I hope you can hear me again. So cute. I know that everybody has their mics on mute, so if you would please do a virtual clap around the horn because that is just so super cute. And for Dr. Arma, those are your future Wildcats. Moving on. And now to H.L. Johnson, and this is Principal Makowski's Kindergarten Roundup video. Okay, and that was H.L. Johnson. I do also want to remind you that although there were dates that were there at the end of the video, everything, of course, is up in the air based on where we will be at opening next school year. And now on to Royal Palm Beach Elementary. Okay, so now I'm going to go into, let me see, okay. Before I go into the school lunch piece, I wanted to, first of all, thank our principals for their leadership. You know, Friday was National Principal Day, and so we appreciate everything that they've done. You know, it's important to note that we went into this new world of learning, of teaching and learning without pretty much any warning, if you think about it. And from the principal level all the way to assistant principals to teachers, we're navigating through this new world in education without any training per se, or without, I mean, just jumping in and getting it done. And so we really appreciate all of the work. This week is Teacher Appreciation Week. We appreciate our teachers very much because, you know, in some cases, some of the most creative and innovating lessons are being developed by our teachers, you know, every single day, and making sure that our students are learning as much as possible until the very end of the year. So it really has taken more of a team effort of everyone, but between the district support, the principal's leadership, the teachers' hard work, it's all come together. So I'll be able to share a little bit about that later on in the presentation, but I did not want to forget my important message this evening, to thank everyone for their hard work. School Lunch Heroes, as you know, a couple of your schools, Crestwood Middle School and H.L. Johnson, serve as feeding sites for the Western communities. And the public is invited to celebrate the district School Lunch Heroes by expressing gratitude and wearing yellow. So please promote that in Royal Palm Beach. So please wear yellow for those of you that are going to the food distribution sites on Thursday, May 7th. So how this is working now, the feeding sites, they have adjusted to now serve 1 day a week. But for that 1 day a week, students are receiving 3 days worth of meals and it's 2 meals a day for 3 days. And that is for May 7th. The next distribution is going to be May 12th. So they're doing it once a week, but they're doing it every other day. So Thursday 1 week, Tuesday on the next week, so they can get several days distributed at once. I want to talk a little bit about the distance learning and the student engagement piece. We're very proud, and like I mentioned before, with the hard work from our teachers, principals, support teams, everyone at the school center that's able to reach out to the students that are still not active or engaged. Now, I want to define what engagement means, right? So there are many forms and ways that we can show attendance or / engagement at the school level. So because we have so many schools, there are different ways to do it. The district has provided 3 options for the schools through the distance learning plan to be able to implement in their schools depending on their needs, right? So we have the first one, and the first two are, the first one is teacher-led through Google Classroom and Google Meet. And the second option is district-led, again, through pre-recorded lessons through Google Classroom as well, and Google Meet, both of which require internet. But there is a third option that is for students that, for whatever reason, are unable to get on the internet. And we do have a pocket of those students that still are unable to get through in the internet. And so we have very creative ways through channel 12.2, as well as the 10 channels on the Comcast, that our district is able to provide lessons that are pre-recorded on a schedule daily. And so the students are participating in those lessons through just watching television, and then the teacher is following up with them through a phone call or a Google call in order to be able to follow up with the students to ensure that they have learned whatever lesson was ready for that day, and be able to make sure that they are completing the tasks that are provided for that. So there are many different ways, again, that engagement is through a blended format, depending on the school need. But if you look at Royal Palm Beach schools doing extremely well, Cypress Trails is at 92% student participation, H.L. Johnson at 93%, Royal Palm Beach Elementary 98%, Crestwood Middle at 95%, Royal Palm Beach High School at 94%. So we are very close to looking at 100% connectivity, and that will be obviously the goal. But right now we're averaging about 95% daily attendance in Royal Palm Beach schools, and that's something to be very proud of. So with that said, I'm going to open it up to my team. Ms. Wetzel is here with us today, and Ms. Green is here as well. I'm going to open it up to Ms. Wetzel and see if she has anything else to add, and Ms. Green. And then after, we'll open up to questions, and then, of course, Ms. Andrews is here as well, representing our school district, and she'll be able to take over.
Thank you, Ms. Haynes. This is Karen Wetzel, and I just want to say the presentations tonight were outstanding. I actually had the opportunity to do virtual walkthroughs at Crestwood this afternoon, and you all would be so incredibly impressed with the level of instruction and the participation. So that's really all I have to say. Just lots of kudos to everyone for a job well done.
Okay, so Ms. Green? All right, Ms. Andrews, are you available? And you may want to take me off presentation mode. All right, here we go. I'm back.
Valerie, this is Bill Tolliver. Can I ask you a question?
Certainly.
First and foremost, this being your first year, I want to say congratulations and kudos to you and your team for having such a great plan to do this. You know, certainly you can blame Dr. Rodriguez as much as you want to, because I'm sure you never walked into this and thought, wow, this is going to happen. But kudos to your team foremost. Secondarily, I'm hearing some really negative things about funding for next year. You kind of led some insight as there'll be reductions and some things. Can you share some of that information, if that's true, or what I'm hearing, or you heard anything about that?
I didn't quite hear. Did you say budget?
Yeah, funding, like a reduction
in funding.
Yeah.
Okay. No, we have not received any information in regards to funding or budget changes for next year. Of course, you know, knowing and what we can only predict, right? So we're predicting that there probably will be some reduction.
If you're not speaking, can you please mute?
Okay. Okay, I'll try again. We have not received anything official in regards to next year's budget yet. You know, we would have to be proactive in thinking that maybe not as soon as next year, but in future years, there's going to be some really hard conversations around budgeting. You know, it just makes sense. The state has closed for basically 2 months, right? So we haven't, as a state, been able to make the revenue that we have had in history and in the past. And so, given that, it only makes sense that in the future we're going to have an impact. I'm not sure that it will be an impact as soon as this coming August. Right now we haven't even had any discussions and open tables where I've been part of to be able to say whether we are or whether we are not. But no decisions have been made.
Okay, it's disturbing to hear again, but I just was thinking we got to a good funding level, but there'll be challenges, sure. So thank you for your insight.
Ms. Vivian, are you available? Did you have something you wanted to say? Ms. Green?
Miss Green was having a hard time unmuting. She's unable to unmute her microphone. She was texting me. She wants to jump on, but she's unable to, for whatever reason, unmute her mic. So if I could invite Ms. Andrews. Ms. Andrews?
Ms. Andrews?
Ms. Andrews? Well, not for nothing, but this is what our kids are experiencing during the day, right? so this is true. This is the way. Ms. Andrews, I noticed a little marker went up that she has left. She's probably having technical difficulties as well. But again, does anybody, I do want to say this, and just being full transparency, we have been receiving some feedback from our parents, a lot of good feedback, and some, feedback that, we got to be very careful with the amount of workload that's being provided to the students. And I just want to be ahead of the game and letting you know that as we are hearing that feedback, we are absolutely working with the schools, and the schools are working with, the principals are working with the teachers to be able to make adjustments as needed, right? So we are making, again, as you know, this is new to all of us. So at some point, we have to be very cautious that we don't want to be too easy for the kids and not do enough and cheat them of an education that they could still get virtually. But on the other hand, we also want to be understanding and that too much is too much, right? So I just want to, share with you and let you know that we are being as proactive as we can with any of those cases, and we are taking care of those. If you hear out there of other situations as we're leaning into the last 4 weeks, please be sure that they contact the school principal to be able to work through some of those cases. But they're not many, which is a good thing. That means that the teachers have actually developed a good balance that's working for both the students and for the teacher. I also want to let you know, too, that the focus for the last 4 weeks of school and then leaning into next year, Principal Epstein said it beautifully earlier in the meeting, in that, I think there was a question asked around, well, what's going to happen next year when the kids come in not as prepared as in years past? And it's really looking at those essential standards that are super important, that we make sure that we review them and cover them for the last 4 weeks, and be sure that we look at next year, and the district is looking at ways as to how can we adjust with the scope and sequence that we know now to be able to include those standards at the very beginning of the year, or weave them in throughout the year that perhaps wasn't directly taught during the last 9 weeks for secondary or trimester for elementary. So we are working through those plans to ensure that the students are not going to be left behind or fall through the cracks. So that is something that we are being very proactive about as a district.
Thank you very much, Ms. Haynes, and we want to thank the district and Central Region very much for all of the work and coordinating all of this and doing all the work you've had to do. I can't even imagine what that looks like, and we just appreciate you, and we know the families, though they may be frustrated at work and having to do things that they never intended to do, because I'm sure most parents never intended to be teacher assistant, let alone teacher. But we thank you all for the work, and we appreciate you all very, very much. Was Miss Andrews able to get through it all?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear
Okay.
me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, Miss Andrews, you're on.
Great, thank you. And good afternoon to everyone. And wow, we've been in challenging times. But when I heard the presentations tonight from all of the schools, my heart was just so blessed because even though we have these challenging times, we are meeting the challenge here in the Palm Beach County School District. It starts out with our school board and superintendent and deputy and the administrative team. And yes, it starts at the school center with these great principals. You moved quickly. No one recognized a few months ago we would be in the mode that we're in today. But you didn't let that bother you. You just stepped up. You stepped up, principals, with the teachers behind you and the staff, and you made it happen with distance learning. I mean, it was something that we've done here in Palm Beach County, but we took it to the next level. And I can tell you, with all of the teachers and staff working through our remote controls and our computers, we're getting it done. Our students, our teachers, as well as our staff. And when we think about it, we have just taken on so many things, and you've heard it tonight. Our essential workers, like our custodians and our maintenance people, cleaning the schools, making sure that it could be sanitized so that we could all be safe, and feeding all the children and the families, our school food service. They just jumped out there right from the beginning. And we changed a lot of things with feeding, but we started weeks ago making sure that children and families were fed. And school food service is to receive a big, big applause for all the work that they've done. I mean, we've just done it. And when we think about it, our seniors, and I heard you all tonight talking about them, my heart breaks because they've truly lost a lot this year, but they're strong. We are Palm Beach County strong, and we're going to keep a positive attitude with our seniors. And I thank you, Mr. Armis, for keeping your mind open so that as things begin to improve and get better, we're never going to forget our seniors, and we're going to do everything in our power as a school board, as the school centers, to make sure that the students, the seniors, can be validated. It's a big deal to graduate, and we're so excited about them. And then when we think about it, we think about our parents and our community. It's been hard because many parents work. Sometimes they're not able to be a second teacher. And parents found out it's not an easy job to be a teacher. It's a job that takes a lot of patience, takes a lot of skills and talent, but our parents stepped up and made it happen. And for those who couldn't do it, they found the help from the school district. And community, you've been there. You've been there. I'm on your calls every Thursday, and you say to us, what do you want us to do? And we're ready to help, you say to us. And we thank you. But we must continue to focus on the good. Even though we're going through a lot of challenge right now, we have to continue to focus on the good. And I want to thank the principals and the teachers. I mean, we're celebrating principal appreciation and teacher appreciation. We appreciate you every day, but especially during this time when it truly happens for schools with teachers and principals and teaching and learning and academic success. It starts with the classroom, and the classroom has been everybody's home through the remote learning. And you've done it, and you're going to continue to do it because we're not going to leave any children behind. We're going to continue to work hard to make sure that every child is successful. And with our mental health component that we have, we know that guidance and counseling and working with parents as well as children every single day now is truly important because we don't know what kind of homes they're living in and what they're having to deal with, as well as dealing with the remote learning and distance learning piece that we're doing. So we're all kind of talking to one another. We're one big family, and we're going to make it through all of this. And I'm just happy that the Village of Royal Palm Beach, our Educational Advisory Board, made it happen through the remoteness tonight of this meeting for us to say thank you to you and to let you know that we are all one. We're going to stay positive. We're going to make it happen, and we will see each other soon, very soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Andrews. And thank you, everyone who has participated this evening, who has attended this meeting in the new and techie way we're doing things tonight for us old fogies like me. It's a learning experience. I appreciate that part of it. We'll go on to statements from the public. We had a public person here, but I guess she has left. Okay. Well, at this point, with all business being taken care of, I move to adjourn the meeting. Everybody say aye.
Aye.